starting lineups. First for the Portland Trailblazers, who come off the victory in Atlanta on Friday night. Terry Porter, Clyde Drexler in the backcourt. Up front, Buck Williams and Jerome Kersey. And at center, Kevin Duckworth. Portland, coached by Rick Adelman, the first captain of the Trailblazers, an original member of the franchise, played 7 years in the NBA with 5 different clubs, including Portland. Here are the Celtics, Dee Brown and Reggie Lewis in the backcourt. Larry Bird playing despite the Achilles problem, Kevin Gamble on the front line. And the center is Robert Parrish. Celtics coached by Chris Ford. In his first year and taking over for Jimmy Rogers, last season led the Celtics to 56 wins and a division title. Boston Celtics have lost 3 in a row after winning 4 straight since the return of Larry Bird. And Friday night in Hartford, they were beaten by the New Jersey Nets 110-108 at one point. Boston led by as many as 19 in the third quarter.
Tough to be on the road for 3 games and then come back, quote, home and have to play in Hartford for the team. Just could not hang on in that fourth quarter run by New Jersey.
Boston had been on a roll after Bird made his return from the back injury, but they have gone to a down period over the last week. The Celtics losing to Miami, blown out in Chicago, and then blew the lead against the Nets. Hugh Evans, Jack Neeson, Bob Delaney are working the game as the Celtics in white and green control the tip. Dee Brown being played by Terry Porter. Jerome Kersey all over Kevin Gamble. Bird guarded by Drexler. Nice pass, and Brown gives Boston a 2-0 lead.
Dee Brown coming from the offside, away from the ball, flashing down into the low post. Point of emphasis for the Celtics today, movement without the basketball.
And here's Porter off the screen. Dee Brown inserted into the starting lineup, opening at the guard spot along with Reggie Lewis. Parrish took the hit from Duckworth, so Parrish will go to the line.
So many things come through Larry Bird's hands. That's why he is such an important part of this Celtic offense. Dee Brown finds the opening down low, flashes to it. Chris Ford mentioned yesterday, very, very concerned with the standing around that had been going on with the team in their 3 losses. We've got to get more movement from our guys.
And Larry Bird, who was a question mark, in fact, did not work out strenuously at practice yesterday, is bothered by a sore right Achilles tendon. It flared up Thursday night, but he did play against the Nets. And Drexler cuts it to a 4-2 Boston lead. Bird did hit 22 of his 28 in the first half against Boston, but also suffered a deep thigh bruise on Friday night. Reggie Lewis giving the Celtics a 6-2 lead. Bird took a shot from Derek Coleman of the Nets on Friday night. There's Bird again, able to box out. But the pass going astray, and Portland will take possession.
Celtics also wondering during this 3-game losing streak, where has the transition game gone? Larry Bird so important to that because he's their best rebounder off the defensive boards.
Minute and a half gone by at the Boston Garden. And Kersey's pass could not be handled by Duckworth. Portland Trailblazers opened their season at 1 up and 3 down. In their first 6 weeks, they lost as many games at home as they did all last year, but then they went on to win 10 of 13, and they've been rolling. The recent streak, 7 straight wins. That is their longest win streak of the year. Here's Bird way off. Buck Williams posting up on Larry Bird and then gets it back out. Kersey. So the Celtics lead the Blazers 6-4.
Find the body now.
Here's Bird. Yes.
Larry Bird was determined to come right back after shooting the previous shot and missing everything. He needs to get that stroke down, get his outside game going.
Celtics 8, Trailblazers 4. Williams stripped. Also lost his glasses in the process. And Parrish had it knocked away.
One of the things that Robert Parrish mentioned was, I need to run the floor hard against Duckworth, make him chase me. I can get easy scores that way. The Chief out in front of everyone. The ball just laid out there for the big guy. Good hands by Drexler.
Celtics have hit 3 of their first 4 from the field. 17 on the 24. Celtics maintain possession. Kersey deflecting it out. These two clubs met in Portland back on the 10th of November, and the Trailblazers won it in a blowout, 116-90, led by Clyde Drexler, who had 26. Bird did not shoot well, 5 out of 18. Parrish. And the foul is called a hacking foul on Kersey, who was trying to help out.
Well, initially coming out, the Celtics go right at Duckworth, try to put fouls on him. That time it was Kersey picking up the foul.
Robert Parrish will shoot 2. Celtics 9 and the Trailblazers 4. Well, Boston up by the score of 10-4. Porter trying to put moves on Brown. Kersey. And again it's Bird off the boards. Parrish. Ripping one by Porter. Rick Adelman wants a 20. The Celtics hearing it from the crowd as they get off to the fast start.
With Larry Bird controlling the defensive boards, Celtics have the ability to release the other big man, Robert Parrish, down the floor. You can see Duckworth way behind trying to catch up.
And Mike, we discussed earlier all the injury problems of the Boston Celtics. Check this out. Larry Bird has already missed 29 games this season with assorted injuries. D. Brown out for 45 games. Kevin McHale 26. On the other hand, the Portland Trailblazers have been a healthy ball club these past 2 years. Look at this.
Well, as you look around the NBA, you'll see that the teams that have the most wins are probably the ones that have had the fewest injuries. The continuity is there. Players understand their roles. They're there every night to produce.
Parrish off the steal. It's a 3-on-2. Lewis with the pull. Rebounded by Kersey. And now the Blazers try to break, but the Celtics got back. Drexler from downtown. And Clyde has been succeeding with the three-point shot.
Well, this Trailblazer team uses the three-point shot as a definite weapon, a definite part of their offense that they look for.
Boston leading 12-7. Parrish.
Yes.
Celtics 14 and the Trailblazers 7. 8 points for Parrish. Drexler again for 3.
There's only one team in the NBA that has made more threes than Portland. That's Milwaukee. Portland's second in the league.
Bird attempting to answer. Other than Michael Jordan, probably no player in the league is as creative or as unstoppable as Clyde Drexler. And this year he has added another dimension to his game, the three-point shot, so he's become a complete player. Bird over Williams. Rebounded by Lewis. Pick and roll with Parrish. Offensive foul call.
When Robert Parrish plays pick and roll, you need to watch him slip the screen. But a moment ago, that three-point threat, Clyde Drexler behind the line. One thing he's added is range to his shot. It's just helped him become an even more dangerous player on the floor.
Consecutive three-pointers for Drexler. Boston leads by 4, and Drexler was held, so he will go to the foul line. Robert Parrish called for his second foul. There you can see the difference in Clyde's game looking for the three-pointer. Already this season he has attempted, coming into today, 278.
And Rick Adelman just believes in it. He said, I have guys who can make it. I give them a green light. They just have to have a good understanding of when it's the right time and when it's not the appropriate time.
So Drexler with a quick 10 points. And he has brought Portland within 2. Just under 7 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Kevin McHale getting set to check in. Lewis getting inside, and he's held. Foul committed by Drexler, and a timeout has been called. We'll be back in Boston in a moment.
Back at our Showtime studio in New York. No pregame show today, so quickly, here's a rundown of last night's NBA scores. The Red Hot Pistons won their 7th straight. They beat the Kings 89-83. That caps a West Coast road trip that saw the Pistons go 5-0. The Spurs won a showdown with the Jazz, 113-106, and moved to within 2.5 games of the Midwest lead. David Robinson at his 8th career triple-double with 27 points, 12 rebounds, and a career-high 11 assists. The Spurs have won 5 straight, and they snapped the Jazz 5-game winning streak. The Lakers continued their good play of this week on the road with a 92-89 victory at Washington. The Bulls trailed the Magic by 8 at the half, but blew them out in the third quarter and won easily, 112-96. The Nets beat the Knicks in overtime, 96-94, breaking a 13-game losing streak at Madison Square Garden. Milwaukee over Philly, 110-105. Charles Barkley had 33 points and 14 boards in the losing effort, despite a broken nose he suffered on Friday night against Phoenix. And the Atlanta Hawks broke their 7-game losing streak with a 115-102 win against the Miami Heat. Right now, let's head back to Boston and rejoin Marv Albert, and we'll see you from here at halftime. Marv?
All right, Bob, and we resume with Reggie Lewis at the free throw line. The Celtics now lead the Trailblazers by the score of 15-12. Kevin McHale has checked in for the first time. Kevin McHale played only 18 minutes Friday night against the Nets. 5 and a 9, 14 points. Clyde Drexler has been in the midst of an explosion with 10 points the last 2 minutes. Here's Lewis, and he stepped out of bounds, could not handle that pass, and was trying to throw it right back.
The intention was to try and complete the play in the air while he was up there, just catch and score. He knew he wouldn't have time to come down and go back up. Instead, he lost his concentration and the ball.
Trailblazers remaining the same following the timeout. Terry Porter, Clyde Drexler in the backcourt. Ron Kersey up front with Buck Williams and Kevin Duckworth. And there's Porter hitting the 3. So it has been a 3-point festival for Portland here in the first quarter, and they now trail by only 1. 2 from downtown by Drexler, now 1 by Porter.
Porter's the 11th best in the league at shooting the three-pointer, just under 40%.
Traveling violation call on McHale.
That's going to be a tough call because Kevin McHale, one of the best with low post moves, but it was a good call. He picked up the left foot, the pivot foot.
Porter got the step, yes, and it counts. He beat D. Brown off the dribble. And Portland has taken a 1-point lead.
Strength. Turning the corner with D. Brown pressuring shows you just how strong Terry Porter is.
So Porter will try to complete the 3-point play. Terry Porter, not what you would call a flashy player, but so efficient, so solid in the clutch. Portland by 2. Here's Brown. Rebounded by Duckworth. Drexler off the head fake. 5.5 remaining in this first quarter from Boston. A quick release. And back comes Brown for the Celtics. Accelerating. And had it knocked away, it will be Celtic ball.
D. Brown has so much speed and quickness. He started to push the ball down the floor, looked to the right and left. There were no players filling the wings. He said, let me just go myself. I'm out in front.
Good play by Drexler to get a hand on it to knock it away. D. Brown is bothered by a sprained ankle. It's the right ankle. The Celtics continue to be hammered by injuries. Sherman Douglas put on the injured list with an ankle problem. Ricky Green is on the injury list. Nice move by McHale. Foul took the shoulder from Buck Williams. And Kevin McHale will go to the line.
What happened that time, because of the switch out, Duckworth wound up on Larry Bird, out away from the basket. Buck was caught behind Kevin McHale.
Kevin McHale saying yesterday at practice that his role in Boston has certainly changed. He says basically now I'm a 15 to 20 minute player, and sometimes that can be tough, particularly when you've been an impact player in the past, as you look at his illustrious career. Said he used to use basketball as a barometer, but now it's the trainer's room. He says he uses the Stairmaster and the weights as the barometer as to how his progress is coming along.
You used to use games and practices to keep yourself in shape. Now you have to use other ways of getting it done.
Drexler off the mark, but kept alive by Kersey. The game is tied at 18. A good run by Portland, a 14-6 spurt, led by Drexler, who has 8 points. Rejected but fouled by McHale.
And the call's going to come before the actual shot. It's going to come on the drop step move into the middle of the lane with body. Duckworth, a big, wide guy. Body to body down low is where the foul was called, not on the shot block.
Kevin Duckworth, only a 69% free throw shooter, will go to the line. Kevin in his 6th year out of Easton, Illinois, and he has been struggling this season. When we handled the Portland-Chicago game back on the 1st of March, we talked about the fact that Rick Adelman will go to Cliff Robinson in the 4th quarter, and Duckworth's playing time has been down.
He has no problem, Adelman, going to a smaller, quicker team with Robinson.
Bird with his 2nd field goal. So Larry Bird is 2 out of 5 from the field. The game is tied at 20. 4.5 to go in this opening quarter. Drexler getting it inside to Williams. McHale with the box out. Lewis. And Kersey able to get to the loose ball. Now Cliff Robinson getting set to check in. Rick Adelman called that early 22nd timeout. Was very upset about the way the Blazers opened things up, but they have certainly come on as Terry Porter goes glass to give the Blazers a 2-point lead.
One of the things the Celtics talked about yesterday was their transition defense, how much they've been getting burned on that. Be interesting if they stay on the offensive glass today or more concerned about getting back.
Larry Bird finding the range. He now has 6, and the game is tied at 22. The Trailblazers have been an excellent road team. They are 20-12. That's the 2nd best record of the NBA. Drexler with 12 points, and Portland leads 24-22. Chicago #1 on the road. Portland, though, has won 14 of its last 18 on the road. Brown looking for the shot. 8 on the 24. McHale has tied it at 24.
Talking about on the road, how about those Detroit Pistons right now taking care of that West Coast?
Well, they are a dangerous team.
7 in a row for Detroit.
Here's Buck Williams from outside. I think Chuck Daly would like to say stop the season, start the playoffs. McHale working on Duckworth and draws the foul for Kevin Duckworth, his 2nd. A timeout is taken. 2:35 remaining in this 1st quarter. The Celtics and Blazers are tied at 24. Well, Clyde Drexler with 12 points in this 1st quarter. Portland has won 7 straight games since the blowout loss in Chicago back on the 1st of March. We asked Clyde, what have you learned from that loss to Chicago?
You got to keep your cool, maintain your calmness, and just go out and play the game. And our team has a tendency to lose it, has had a tendency to lose it in the past. I think this year has been totally different. We've been under control, we've been poised, and we've played the game. And as a result, we're having a lot of success.
There were times in the playoffs over the past 2 seasons that the Trailblazer team became so distracted by their opponents, by officials' calls, they lost their concentration on the most important thing, winning the game. And I think that Drexler is now saying they feel that they understand, they have learned by it, they've got themselves under control.
But the true test will come playoff time for this ball club. They were very upset about the statements made after the Chicago game concerning their lack of smart play on the court. And certainly that was dealt with in Portland throughout the week after that trouncing at the hands of the Bulls.
So what happens many times, one play sticks in the fans' minds. It's a glaring mistake. Perhaps the loss at home against Chicago still lingers. Two big critical plays down the stretch. They could have pulled the ball back both times. Instead, they tried to attack. There were turnovers. Chicago wound up winning that game in double overtime. People tend to remember those negative things and not the positive things. The fact that this team has averaged over 60 wins for the past 2 seasons.
Rick Fox, who just checked in, called for the foul to put Clyde Drexler on the line. Mark Bryant, 4-year man from Seton Hall, has checked in. Resetting these clubs for Boston, it is a front line of McHale with Fox and Gamble. Now here's Gamble. And the Celtics lead 28-26. Kersey, Robinson, and Bryant now up front for Portland. Here's Porter. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the first. Brown being played by Porter. And the call is away from the ball against the Trailblazers. Here's one-time Boston Celtic Danny Ainge checking in, and here's it from the crowd. The foul committed by Mark Bryant. Ainge replacing Porter. So a nice greeting for Danny Ainge, who spent 7 years with the Boston Celtics. Celtics 11 for 11 from the line. They are the #1 free throw shooting team of the NBA. There's Danny Ainge, 7 years with Boston, and on to Sacramento. This is 2nd year with Portland. Celtics 30. The Trailblazers 26 with 1:40 to go in this first quarter. Ainge with a quick release. Kept alive by Bryant. Ainge with the head fake. Able to beat Brown.
A steal by Drexler on the inbounds pass.
Clyde playing catch with himself. A third attempt does not go down. Now Bird being played by Ainge on a switch, and Larry Bird is able to connect with a scoop.
And Bird was most concerned with drawing contact, thinking he's going to get to the line for 2. Keeps his concentration and converts.
Drexler fouled by Fox. That's 2 on the rookie from North Carolina.
Well, Bird immediately knew there was a mismatch. Ainge wound up on Bird in transition. Ainge trying to get the offensive call. Bird goes around, sees the defensive man rotating over, thinks Robinson's going to hit him, but instead takes the deuce.
Clyde Drexler to the line. He's 4 for 4 from the line. He now has 15 points in this first quarter, and we are watching perfect free throw shooting at both ends. Boston 12 for 12. Now Portland has hit all 8. Well, it was perfect.
So much for that.
Celtics lead by 3. We're down to 40 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Bird turning on Robinson and hitting. 10 points for Bird. And the Celtics lead 34-29.
Bird 9 for 11 in their last game during the first half, then a disastrous second half. Whether or not he can continue it over extended minutes remains to be seen.
Kersey with a quick release. 34-31. Celtics lead. It's been a hot shooting first quarter for both clubs. Boston has hit its last 5 from the floor. And D. Brown working it down for a final shot. And Kersey lost it off his foot. 0.5 of a second remaining in the quarter.
Jerome Kersey just took his eyes and looked up down the floor to see if he had an open teammate. In that 1 split second, the ball wound up going off his left foot out of bounds.
Bird will throw in.
This can be now a catch and shot attempt because it is above 0.3 of a second.
And Fox with the hook fling that lands in the crowd. Drexler 15 points in the first quarter. Clyde 4 out of 8 from the floor. Bird 5 for 8 for his 10 points. Good shooting by both clubs. And the Celtics lead at 34-31 after 1 at the Boston Garden. Jack and John Wetzel, the assistant coaches to Rick Adelman on the Portland Trailblazer bench. Second quarter underway. Celtics 11 for 19 from the field, 58% shooting in the first quarter. Robinson is fouled. Robert Pack, the 6'2" rookie backcourt man from the University of Southern California, has checked in for the first time. Reggie Lewis called for the foul. Cliff Robinson to the line. In the first quarter, Larry Bird, who was a question mark for this afternoon's game because of an Achilles tendon problem, 5 for 8 from the field, 10 points, along with 6 rebounds. Clyde Drexler with a sensational first quarter, 15 points, 4 out of 8 from the floor, 5 for 6 from the line.
The 3 old-timers for Boston combining for 26 out of the 34 Celtic points.
Meaning Bird, Harris, and McCann. D. Brown with his second bucket, and the Celtics lead at 36-32. Bryant with Kersey and Robinson up front. Pack and Ainge at the guards. Fox got a piece of it. Shot clock at 3. Here's Pack. Offensive foul call.
When you put the ball into a player's hands like Robert Pack with 3 seconds left on the 24-second clock, you're asking him to do something that's not natural for him. Produce an excellent shot while being pressured by a very good defender in D. Brown. As a result, he pushes off offensive foul.
Ed Pinckney has come on for the first time. Robert Pack, a major surprise, signed as a free agent after a good showing at the Southern California Summer League. Ainge off the steal. Fox racing back. Ainge gives it up. Kersey does the rest. Boston 36, Portland 34.
Well, outside of the transition game, I'm not sure who's going to get scores for this group of Blazers on the floor right now. Who a guy is that's out there that can break down the defense one-on-one and get them a basket.
Lewis. Fox with the rebound, and he is fouled. Hit on the reach-in.
Now, maybe this group of Trailblazers will get it done by playing excellent defense. Ainge caught down low against a bigger opponent, Reggie Lewis. Changes sides, gambles, comes up with the steal, and then numbers will get you every time. 3-on-1 for the Blazers.
Ala Abdelnaby, who recently has been bothered by some injury problems, has checked in for the first time. There is Ala in his second year out of Duke, watching man that he would face in his days in the ACC, Rick Fox out of North Carolina.
And then another problem that's created for Rick Adelman is Abdelnaby was playing well, gets injured. Bryant comes back. He starts playing well. How do you get everybody minutes?
Celtics lead at 36-34. Robinson popping one to Ainge. Back with a nice backdoor pass for Robinson. And the game is tied at 36. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad from the Boston Garden before the usual capacity crowd, just under 15,000 on hand. D. Brown, he thought he was fouled. Ainge, and that is called a two-pointer. His foot was on the line, and Chris Ford is asking for a timeout. The Trailblazers have taken a 2-point lead. We'll be right back.
A point of emphasis with the Trailblazers is ball movement and body movement. Start the ball on one side of the floor and try and reverse the ball over to the other side of the floor. If you get that type of movement, you make the defense adjust. As it's starting to swing, Rick Fox wants to jump out here in the passing lane. So what do? Set him up and run a back door. Fake, go. Nice movement without the ball. Produces the score.
Yes, he is the czar of the telescope. 2:15 gone by in the second quarter. And the Trailblazers with a 2-point lead on the Celtics. John Bagley has come on for the first time. He was a question mark because of a sore right foot. And the leg block is called. Well, the combination, as you mentioned earlier, of Parrish, Bird, and McHale have certainly contributed in the first half. The veterans have done the job. Only McHale is on the floor right now. Parrish and Bird getting a rest.
Talk about the changing roles. John Bagley, the starting point guard early in the year while D. Brown is out recovering from the knee problem. Then the Sherman Douglas trade is done. He's on the bench getting no minutes as Kevin McHale does a nice little post-up move. Suddenly he's on the bench as the third point guard, but now Douglas becomes injured and Bagley's needed once again.
Yes, Sherman Douglas sprained an ankle. Here's Pack from deep. Robert Pack showing the shooting touch. Portland 40 and Boston 38. Bagley using the screen. Fox played by Robinson. It's McHale off the boards. Kevin McHale has 12. The game is tied at 40. Mack looking for the shot. Changed his mind. Able to find Bryant. Rejected by McHale. 5 on the 24. I don't know if they realize it. Well, Ainge does. And hits a three-pointer in unorthodox fashion.
How could you ever question that Danny Ainge would not know how much time was left? He's played here enough times. He just faked us all out.
The Portland bench screaming that the shot clock was running down. Ainge and Pack in the backcourt. Abdelnaby up front with Bryant and Robinson. Ainge beating Lewis off the dribble, finding Robinson. Yes. And the Trailblazers are rolling. They now lead it 45-40. The Celtics calling for a 20-second timeout.
Danny Ainge just wanted to make this a little bit interesting for everyone here in the building. Kind of holding the ball, making it look like he didn't even have an idea what was going on. Back over his head, and then suddenly launches it with the clock running out.
And Portland has hit 6 of 7 from the floor in the second quarter. Looking ahead, next Sunday here on NBC, more NBA action. It's the Philadelphia 76ers and the Indiana Pacers, a matchup of two of those quiet guys by way of Auburn, Charles Barkley and Chuck Person. And it is a battle for the last playoff spot. Philadelphia right now the number 7 position. Indiana knocking on the door. Indiana has certainly turned it after the bad start.
Indiana seems like it keeps getting right to the point where they're going to put a string together and then they step backwards.
And Bryant does it off the steal. Mark Bryant has played well. He's extended the Portland lead to 7. A 16-6 run by the Blazers. Reggie Lewis. And a loose ball foul is called. Reggie Lewis is off. He's only 1 for 6 from the field.
But when you have big guys like Mark Bryant that are willing to work hard, now he's pressuring Larry Bird almost out to the half-court line. The hard work pays off with the steal.
And it certainly has been hard work on the part of Mark Bryant, who was out some 2 hours prior to his teammates taking the court here in Boston, as he was shooting from all angles. Larry Bird has been hitting from all angles. He now has 12. Portland leads 47-42. Pack passing in a crowd. It's picked off by Bird. Swinging move by Lewis and Bird as they were able to find McHale, but it was last touched by Portland, and Boston will maintain possession. Timeout is called with 6:50 remaining. First half. a little attempt at mirth.
Look, it's a special ability to be able to pull these things out of the players.
But Robert Parrish says he's been very fortunate that he's never sustained a major injury and feels he owes quite a bit to Clifford Ray, who played with at Golden State. Clifford into dieting and stretching and lifting weights. Clifford was an excellent defensive center on some very fine Golden State clubs in the 70s. John Bagley able to connect. And the Celtics now trail 47-44.
And the old front line for the Celtics is in there together. Bird, McHale, and Parrish. And I'm sure that Chris Ford will take a very close look to see what type of productivity he gets out of this group.
Terry Porter has returned for Portland. Finds Ainge. Yes. Well, Danny Ainge has hit 4 out of 5. He has 9 points. The Blazers 49 and the Celtics 44. Halfway through the second quarter. Bird trying to hit Parrish. Knocked out of bounds by Abdelnaby.
Talk about defense making a decision. Ainge is going to run off the screen. The defense is going to come over the top, so Ainge stays down in the corner low. That's a fade move by Danny Ainge.
Here's Bird from deep. Yes. Larry Bird 7 for 10 for 14 points. And Boston trails by 3. Porter, oh, he did well to get that off, extending himself in traffic. Terry Porter with 10 points.
Kept his dribble alive long enough to get to the spot that he wanted on the floor, right in the middle of the lane. He knocked out an easy jumper.
Portland 51, Celtics 46. Bird to Lewis.
A pick and roll, Lewis Bird into a give and go, Bird to Lewis.
3-point Portland lead as we come up on 5 minutes to go in this first half. Porter. Bird with the rebound. Bagley returns to Bird. The pass to McHale was rejected. And the crowd reacts. They were looking for a foul call. Cliff Robinson for Ala Abdelnaby. And Ainge able to recover. Larry Bird providing a spark for the Celtics. He's hit 7 of 10 from the field. He's hit his last 6. And he was a question mark for today because of the Achilles problem. Porter and McHale with the rebound. Parrish with the spin. And Abdelnaby could not hang
on. A moment ago, some great transition basketball. The quick look, the second look, lefty pass delivered, but the excellent defensive recovery blocks the shot by Portland.
E. Brown is back, replacing John Bagley. Kevin Duckworth, Clyde Drexler have checked back in. And Pinckney back on the floor for Boston. He's up front with Parrish and Bird. Parrish being played now by Duckworth. Parrish drew the foul. Ball being made by Jack Neese. That's number 3 committed by Duckworth. Kevin Duckworth having a difficult time with Robert Parrish, who is 4 for 4 from the line. Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield will soon honor Robert Parrish with a display case that will salute his various milestone achievements, such as 20,000 points, 12,000 rebounds, and eventually you can look for Robert's uniform to find its way to the hall. Rebound number 8 for Bird. Lewis with the footaway. And Boston has come back to take a 52-51 lead. Here is Porter, and that's from downtown. Terry Porter hits his second three, so the Blazers have hit 4 in all, make it 5 in all from three-point range.
That's one of the problems with sliding underneath the screen. Pick and roll set up that time for Portland. You know that Porter's got the range. He steps behind it, shoots the three without hesitation.
Bird feeling for Robinson, and then fires. Yes! He has hit his last 7, and the game is tied at 54.
Put an extra 4 or 5 feet on that one just to get it up over the top of Robinson's hand.
Bird is 8 for 11, 16 points. Drexler for 3, and then some. Clyde Drexler is at 3 from three-point land, and Portland is now 6 for 7 from downtown. The Blazers lead it by 3. With the shovel for Lewis. Reggie Lewis will go to the line. The Blazers now call for time. Larry Bird bumping with Cliff Robinson, feeling around, and then drilling it home. 2:25 remaining in this first half.
Almost put up, because with those two, shut up is out of the question. Bob Costas in New York. Coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll get Quinn Buckner's take on the first half of this one, and we'll be joined by the insiders, Peter Bessie and Bob Ferry. We'll talk about a potential licensing flap between Michael Jordan, Nike, and USA Basketball, and also about the resurgence of the Detroit Pistons. Right now, let's head back to Boston Garden and rejoin Marv Albert and Mike Fratello. Marv, how much sleep did you get last night?
Well, Bob, as you know, I was at the Knick Net game last night, and sleep never a problem. Just the sight of the Czar is enough to get me revved up. And the Larry Bird family on hand, that is Dinah Bird, along with 8-month-old Connor. And I know Dinah enjoying what she has seen from her husband, Larry Bird. 8 for 11. He's hit his last 7, 16 points in all. Portland leads 57-55 with 2:25 remaining in the first half. Now Porter being played by Brown. And Reggie Lewis trying to front Clyde Drexler's call for his second foul. His third personal foul. Drexler and Porter now in the backcourt. Robinson is up front with Kersey and Williams. We're coming up to 2 minutes remaining in the first half. 2 minutes. Kersey rebounded by Williams. Here's Drexler challenging Parrish. So the Glide with 20 points. And Portland leads 59-56. Larry Bird has hit his last 7 field goal attempts. Parrish with the fake, fouled by Robinson.
Before the last timeout, Clyde Drexler posted down low. Buck Williams with the basketball. Clyde's going to slide to the middle of the lane. He's wide open, screaming for the basketball. Pass it to me. I'm open. Instead, he steps out, gets behind the three-point line, and knocks it down. And on his way back down the floor, he made sure to tell Buck Williams, hey, when I'm open, get me the basketball.
And Clyde has been open throughout this first half. He's the high man with 20. Ed Pinckney sits down. Kevin Gamble returning. Robert Parrish 7 for 7 from the line. Make it 8 out of 8. Boston down by 1 with a minute and a half to go in the first half. Portland Trailblazers record of 46-18. They have won 7 in a row, their longest win streak of the season. Robinson went to the running hook. Rebound number 9 for Bird.
And that was set up as an isolation for Robinson to go one-on-one versus Parrish. They had Drexler spotting up behind the three-point line on the left wing.
Shot clock at 7. Here's Bird. Kersey Kersey angling in. Time running down in this first half. 40 seconds remaining. Brown bottled up, tied up. Buck Williams and D. Brown will jump it up. The Boston Celtics at 35-29. When Larry Bird made his return from the back problems on the 1st of March, the Celtics went on to win 4 in a row, but they have lost their last 3, and they come off the defeat at the hands of the improved New Jersey Nets. Nets had dropped 4 straight on the West Coast, but they won in Hartford against the Celtics Friday night. Then last night at Madison Square Garden, they beat the New York Knicks. Porter from 3. Crowd looking for a foul.
Crowd saw Larry Bird sandwiched between 3 of the Trailblazers jersey and wondered how there could not be a foul called with them jumping all over his back.
Porter gets inside, it counts, and the foul. Terry Porter has 15 points. The foul committed by D. Brown.
Well, one thing the Trailblazers do is gang rebound and get on the glass on the offensive boards in particular. Bird by himself. A little give and go inside cut that time by Terry Porter and looked for the late return pass. The pass delivered by Clyde Drexler, who leads all scoring guards in assists in the NBA, almost 7 a game. So he's playing unselfishly while scoring his points.
Portland with a 4-point lead. Time running out in the first half. Brown lost it. It's a 3-on-2. Robinson rejected by Parrish with 0.5 of a second remaining.
That's the second time in this first half that the Trailblazers would appear to have an easy score and wind up getting nothing out of it.
Jerome Kersey will throw in. 0.5 of a second left. And it's broken up. So that is the end of the first half. A good one here in Boston. Clyde Drexler, 6 out of 10 from the field, 20 points in all. Larry Bird at one stretch hit 7 in a row. He is 8 for 12 for his 16 points. At the half, it's the Portland Trailblazers 62 and the Boston Celtics 58. Bob and Quinn coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to Boston, where the Portland Trailblazers are trying to make it 8 straight wins, and they have a rugged road schedule this month. 10 of 17 on the road, but as you can see, they have handled it extremely well.
Well, this is a team that has the ability and has produced away from home on the road, as you mentioned. Unlike the Celtics, who are struggling at 11-22 on the road, this Trailblazer team just dangerous at all times and all places.
Portland with its biggest lead of the game, a margin of 10. With 1:45 gone by in the third. With 18, he's hit 9 of 13 from the field.
And that may have been the biggest basket for the Celtics thus far to keep them right there, close enough to at least challenge. This could have exploded at this point.
Here's Porter for 3. Yes! So Terry Porter hits on his third from downtown. He has 19. And Portland leads 73-62. Portland only 3 for 13 from downtown. Bird again. Portland was 3 for 13 on Friday night in Atlanta. Here's another 3 by Porter. At times, I feel as if I'm watching an ABA game from the early days of that league.
Little two-man play. Robert Parrish setting the good screen. Larry Bird running his man off, wide open for the jumper. And then if you don't give him a screen, he's still good enough to get it off in your face.
Larry Bird is now 10 of 14 for his 20 points. Bird again. And Drexler gets to it. Kersey's pass broken up. Here's Brown able to slice through. Well-executed fast break by D. Brown.
Only Kevin Gamble's second shot attempt in this basketball game. A young man who shoots well over 51%. Part of the problem with the players injured, some nights Gamble's a go-to guy. They need him to take 12 to 15 shots. Other nights when everybody's back, he just gets what comes in the flow of the game.
Shot clock at 3. Jerome Kersey with his 4th field goal. He has 8 points. Portland 75 and Boston 66.
Yeah.
Lewis, he thought it was held, looking for the foul call. Portland tried to catch Boston moving down court in deliberate fashion. Duckworth spinning in, rebounded by Parrish. To heat it up. He's 3 of 4 from the field. Boston down by 7. Again, a bad pass. Portland getting a bit sloppy here.
Last game for Boston, Gamble, 8 shot opportunities, 7 of them good. 7 out of 8 from the floor. He produces when you give him his shots.
And certainly with Larry Bird sidelined by injury along with Kevin McHale, he was getting his shot opportunities earlier in the season. Kersey had it knocked away by Gamble. Kevin Gamble, originally a draft pick of the Portland Trail Blazers, kicked around a bit before settling with the Celtics. Bird can't find the shot. Lewis does. So the Celtics come roaring back, and they are within 5 after trailing by 11. Buck Williams for Jerome Kersey. Larry Bird gambling on the overplay.
When you go for the steal and miss, what happens is you break down the entire team defense.
Bird for 3.
Chris Ford had a little smirk on his face because he knows Bird is such a competitor. He knew he had broken down the team defense at 1 inch, so he got it back an extra point that time.
Drexler could not hit the 3, and a loose ball foul is called on Buck Williams.
Well, if you give up 2 at one end, then it's real nice if you get an extra one back and knock out a 3 at the other end. That's what Larry Bird does for the Celtics. Up 1, up 1. Adelman saying, don't let him get started with 3s. We've seen enough of that.
Bird. 11-4 run by the Celtics to move within 4. Kersey with a hard driving move. Rebound snatched by Bird. Boston on the run, led by Brown. Portland able to get back. Lewis. And Drexler off the board. Drexler penetrating. A gorgeous move by Clyde Drexler. He has 25.
No excuse for that. Transition defense. The players must get back, locate the basketball, and then stop dribble penetration.
Celtics down by 6. Larry Bird is now 11 for 18 from the field. Porter had it knocked away by Brown. Lewis from Portland 79, Boston 75, and Rick Adelman wants to talk it over.
Boston Garden, and you know, I always enjoy talking to ball boys around the league. And this young, what is your name?
Mikey.
Mikey what?
McHale.
Mikey McHale. This is Kevin. I guess sooner or later you're going to grow into those sleeves, huh? Have you ever watched Inside Stuff?
No.
How about, have you ever heard of Marv Albert?
No.
Well, you have a good time out here, huh? Marv?
Oh, what a setup. Plus the blatant plug, you'll notice. Well, Mikey's dead. Kevin McHale, 3 out of 6 from the field, 6 for 6 from the line for 12 points. The high man for the Celtics, Larry Bird, with 23. Clyde Drexler leads Portland with 25. Boston has come back after trailing by 11, but Terry Porter's had the hot hand, extends to an 81-75 Trailblazer lead. Porter has 21.
D. Brown asking for the 20. Injured his ankle on the last play down the floor, coming around the screen, turned it, needs the 20.
D. Brown has been bothered by a sprained right ankle. Boston Celtics have been hard hit by injuries. Sherman Douglas on the injury list with an ankle sprain. Ricky Green is still out with lower back spasms. John Bagley, a question mark, but he did play in the first half, has a sore right foot. And Larry Bird, a question because of the sore right Achilles, plus the deep thigh bruise.
It's right here on this contact. Right there, body contact by D. Brown is where the ankle is turned.
And D. Brown now sits down, replaced by John Bagley. 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. The shot clock is down to 5. Down to 3. Lewis had it knocked free. And that is a 24-second violation. Let's get back to Ahmad.
It was not the ankle that D. Brown just injured. He got kneed in the thigh on that last play. They're putting ice on it, and he should be fine.
All right, Ahmad. It is Portland ball. A backcourt of Porter and Drexler with Duckworth, Williams, and Kersey up front. Blazers with the starting lineup. Beautiful backdoor pass for Buck Williams. And the Blazers now lead at 83-75. McHale backing Duckworth. Yes. 14 for Kevin McHale. Portland leads 83-77.
If you're going to double team McHale, then the defensive player that's matched up against him, Duckworth, has to bring him towards the double team. Don't let him turn away from it and get the jump hook off.
Kersey. Drexler on the recovery, and he's fouled from behind by Lewis.
A moment ago, D. Brown's injury took place at the right side of the screen. It was a knee by McHale right there into the thigh that caused the damage.
And there is Sherman Douglas, who, as we mentioned a moment ago, is on the injury list with an ankle problem. Sherman acquired from Miami on the deal for Brian Shaw. Cliff Robinson returns. Buck Williams will sit down. Leads with 5 points, 3 fouls. And Clyde Drexler, 6 for 7 from the free throw line. 7-point Portland lead. Just under 4 minutes to go in the third. McHale from Bird. Boston down by 5. Clyde was looking for the three-point possibility. Duckworth swinging inside.
What Kevin Duckworth does is he uses that big body to protect the basketball. Kevin McHale with the extra long arms, great shot blocking ability, but it's nullified by the width of Duckworth.
Robinson able to get to it. Choice here, finding Lewis. Portland 86, Boston 81. Drexler changing his mind, finding Porter. Porter now guarded by Bagley, and he's fouled. That's the first committed by Bagley.
The good defense will produce a lot of easy scores for the Celtics. One of the things that Chris Ford said we haven't been getting enough of, fast break layups.
Drexler coming off the pick. Drexler with the spin. Clyde Drexler with 28 points. Portland leads 88. 81. Bird drawing the foul. Will he get the call? No. The foul on Robinson. They do not give him the continuation.
He held the ball just a little bit too long. The contact's there. He's on the ground. Then the continuation and basket goes in. Good call. If he releases while he's got him in the air, fine. Otherwise, he's still on the ground.
So a non-shooting foul. Lewis to the jump hook. Yes, and it counts.
That's what Chris Ford was mentioning at halftime, that we want to try and put some pressure on Drexler at the defensive end. Hopefully that'll affect him down at the offensive end. Remember, Lewis is 6'7", going against Drexler 6'7", so matched up pretty well. Perhaps Drexler the advantage with a little more strength.
Boston now 19 for 21 from the foul line by virtue of that three-point play by Lewis. Portland has a 4-point lead. Robinson got picked off by Bagley.
Robinson looking for a call. All he did is run into the wrong team. That's all. Fell over.
Danny Ainge is back. Robinson looking to put the move on Bird. Shot clock at 5. Down to 3. Drexler rejected. And it's a 24-second violation.
And the crowd loves the fact that they knew the team was digging in defensively. They came up with the big defensive play. Reggie Lewis with the block.